So this is Canvas Basics. My name is Herbert Serrano. I'm the Instructional Technology Lead at CSUN. The agenda for today's workshop is getting you used to Canvas, and I'm going to show you how to log into Canvas if you're not already familiar with that. Then I'm going to show you how to upload your files into Canvas, how to do some basic organization. Then I'm going to demonstrate how to create some assessments in Canvas, specifically a simple assignment that your students will upload a file to, and then show you how to provide feedback. Then I'll show you how to create a quiz and a graded discussion. After that, I'll show you how to use the Gradebook function, then scheduling a simple Zoom meeting and show you how to place that meeting link into Canvas so your students can access it relatively easy. And then at the end, I'll show you how to publish your course and then show you how to send an announcement letting your students know that you're now using Canvas. Some of you may not have used Canvas prior to this, so that announcement feature is really good because it'll go to all your students. So now, that being said, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen now. And let me come here. All right, so you should all now be able to see my screen. And I am at the CSUN homepage, csun.edu. There's a couple different ways to access Canvas. I'm going to show you what is probably one of the easiest ways. Coming to the homepage, when you click on the Northridge portal, normally you would use this to get to the teachers area of the portal, but I'm going to click on this button here that says Canvas. This will take me to the Canvas page that we've created on the IT homepage. There's tips and resources here. And I'm going to click on Log into Canvas. Once I click on that, it takes me to the CSUN single sign-on page. This may be familiar to you. This is the sign-on page that's used for many of the resources are used here at the university. So I'm going to click on Login. My credentials are already saved in my browser. And now when I log in, this is Canvas. This is called the dashboard view, and it is the default view for everyone in Canvas. I have several, these are called course cards, and I have several of them here. Every course that you have ever participated in at CSUN, either as a student or a teacher or anything in between, will get a Canvas card, and it would appear when you log into Canvas. So if you've been teaching for several semesters or several years since 2018, you may have several of these course cards kind of cluttering your dashboard. So what I'm going to show you is how to easily identify the courses for the current term, spring 2020, and have only those appear in the dashboard. So I'm going to go to the far left of the screen, and I'm going to click on Courses. This is called the Canvas navigation, and I'm going to click on the Courses item from that navigation. I will scroll down to the bottom. Again, there's several courses here, but I want to click on All Courses now. This will give me a list of all the courses in alphabetical order, but more importantly, it'll give me the term here. So I now know which are my current spring courses, and I'm going to click on the star. There we go. And once I click on the star, it goes from being a hollow star to a solid orange star. I'm not going to use those, but I want this one. This is the most important one. This Test 100 course. I don't need to click Save or anything. I just need to click on the stars. And then when I click on Dashboard, I'm returned to the dashboard view. And what was once an overwhelming number of course cards is now 4, because those are the 4 that I highlighted. So now I'm going to click on this Test 100 Canva demo. That's a course that I've created specifically for this demonstration. So now I've got my empty course. There's nothing here. It's like Los Angeles outside right now. Sorry for the joke. The first thing I want to do is I want to start uploading my files to here. So from here, this is called the course navigation menu. I'm going to click on Files. So when I click on Files, I'm taken to the Files area of the Canvas course, and I see that the folder is empty. What I want to do now is I want to click this Upload button. When I click on there, I want to go to Documents. I have some documents I've created. Here are my teacher files. I'm going to select these and I'm going to upload them. So the upload is relatively quick depending on your internet connection from wherever you may be, as well as the size of the file that you're uploading. These are all less than a megabyte, so they uploaded relatively quick. And I see here a PDF, a PowerPoint file, a Word document, and another PDF. So once something is uploaded into Canvas, into the files, it's automatically published. So that's for the files. They're now here, but I want to make it easy for my students to get to. So I'm going to once again click on Home. When I click on Home, I'm presented with this empty screen again. But I want to create a module. I'm going to click plus module. And in that module, I'm going to be placing all my files. And I'm going to call it that, Files. So a module is just a simple organizational item. It doesn't contain any information itself. It's just like a tab divider in an old 3-ring binder. So now here is my Files module. It doesn't have anything in it, but I'm going to fix that. I'm going to place the files that I previously uploaded. The way I do that is by clicking on the plus symbol that is to the far right of the name of the module. And from this drop-down list, I'm going to add File. From here, I see the files that I previously uploaded. I'm going to select all 4, and I click Add Item. Now, for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm keeping the module name very simple, Files. But if you want to create a module for the week of the term, you're certainly welcome to do that, or the topic, or whatever you choose. So now I have my files uploaded. Again, this green circle indicates that they are in a published state. That means that once the course is published, students will be able to view them. More on publishing later in this workshop. To the left of this green circle are these dials. These are the accessibility scores for the documents. We have a tool in Canvas called Ally, which checks files for accessibility. I've had some colleagues from the Universal Design Center on these calls. Universal Design Center can help you with accessibility, any accessibility questions you may have. And I'll share that link. I don't know if someone from UDC is on the call right now. If you are, you could go ahead and share the link to your website. Otherwise, I will do that at the end. So, returning to Canvas. When I click on these files, I'm going to click on this Zoom Basics PDF. It opens up in Canvas, and it looks like someone posted something in the chat. Yes, Crystal. Thank you so much, Crystal. Crystal is from the Universal Design Center, and she's posted the link to some of their resources. Thank you. So back to Canvas. Whoops. I've clicked on the zoombasics.pdf. This is a resource that we've created, and it's a PDF, and it's displaying in the Canvas file preview. The reason it's called a file preview is because it shows us the file. We could click on the links, and the links would open up. But if this was a PDF form or a Word document that had a form, or if it was an Excel sheet, it would display it, but we wouldn't be able to type any values into it because it is a preview of the document. But it still looks exactly how we would expect it to look. We just wouldn't be able to do any of the data field entries into it. If you did want to do that, you could still click on the file and input the items and save it locally. The Canvas file preview can display all the popular Microsoft Office file formats. So that's Word, Excel, PowerPoint. It could also display PDFs, as we're seeing here, and the common image types like JPEG, GIF, and PNG. So basically, the common file formats that are online can be displayed natively within Canvas. If you have something, if you're teaching a design course or something that uses some CAD files or some Adobe files, they may not display here properly, but you could still upload it and the students would be able to download. So let's see, I'm getting a question. I'm sorry, how did you get to that file? Oh, yeah. So I'm going to click on Home once again. The first step is I uploaded the files to the Files part of the course. I clicked Upload, selected the files I wanted to upload. I'm not going to do that again. Then once I uploaded them, clicked on Home, made a module, added the files to the module, and then I just clicked on it from the module itself. And there is my PDF. And when I click this, it would download the file. And now it's opened it on my computer in Adobe Acrobat. I'm going to close that. So now we've got our files uploaded. Now I'm going to show you how to create the assessments. Yes, questions at the end. We'll get to that. Thank you so much, Jing Lee. Yeah, we'll have about 10, maybe 20 minutes worth of questions. I always stay after the fact. I have this scheduled to go through 11, but I always stick around after to answer as many questions as I can. So now I'm going to click, now I'm going to show you how to create an assessment in Canvas, the first of which is a assignment that the students will be uploading something to. So I'm going to click on Assignments. Now that I've clicked on Assignments, it'll take me to the Assignments part of Canvas. And okay, what is happening? My internet connection is unstable. Well, that is embarrassing. There we go. Now I'm in the assignments part of Canvas, and I haven't created any assignments. That's why it's saying no assignments in this group, and it's empty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this plus assignment. I'm going to show you how to create an assignment that students will be uploading a file to. So I'm going to call this sample assignment 1. This is the name of the assignment. Down here would be the details or the description for it. And I'm just going to say, please upload a file, or please upload a document summarizing, spelled incorrectly, ... I'm going to make this worth 10 points. I'm going to leave assignment group and display grades in the defaults. Now for the submission type, I want it to be an online submission, but there are different submission types. No submission, on paper, external tool. I'm going to leave it online because I want my students to write a paper and upload it through Canvas, and then I'll get it. So I'm going to select File Upload from the online entry options, and then I'm going to use this field here, Restrict Upload File Types, because I only want to receive Word or PDF files. The reason I only want Word or PDF files is because I could then grade it within Canvas without having to download it onto my computer, and I'll show you how to do that. So for the allowed file extensions, I'm going to type .doc, comma, .docx, comma, and .pdf. These two are the Word file formats, and this is a PDF document. The reason I do both is because older versions of Word will save to a DOC, newer versions will do DOCX. I will leave the rest of these options in the default values, and then this last area of the assignment, I'm going to set my due date. I want my students to submit this by next Friday, March 27th. So that's the due date. I will set the available date to today, and I will set an until date for March 29th. So the due date is when the assignment is due, next Friday, basically at midnight. The available from means once I publish this assignment, when can the students start uploading? So I want them to start working on it now and upload it if they already have it finished. Now the until date, that means after the due date, Canvas will still accept the assignment, but it'll only give them 2 extra days. Anything that's submitted Saturday or Sunday will be accepted by Canvas, but it'll be marked late. So now I'm going to click Save and Publish. I now get a description of the assignment, sample assignment 1, the directions that I typed. It is worth 10 points, submitting a file upload, and the file types are limited to Word and PDF. Here is the due date for everyone, that means everyone in the class, and it's available March 20th until March 29th. So I'm going to show you what it looks like from the student side. I'm going to once again click on Home. Function in Canvas that's available to teachers is this Student View button. It's only available to teachers. Your students, by default, are Student View. So when I click on Student View, it is exactly what the students view, and down at the bottom I have this hot pink magenta button or bar, and there's Leave Student View and Reset Student. So I'm going to click on Assignments, and here is my sample assignment 1. I again get the description of the assignment with the due dates, what the directions are, and now I'm going to click on Submit Assignment. Down below, I get this file upload dialog, and I'm going to select the file I want to upload. I want to upload this Word document here. And I could place a comment if I want. This is an optional field. But I'm just going to go ahead and type in, hello, here is the homework. Now I'm going to click Submit Assignment. Depending on the size of the file and the internet connection from the person submitting it, that'll determine how long it takes to upload. But once it has been submitted, I get a confirmation here on the right-hand side of the screen, submitted with the date and the time, as well as the name of the file, and the comments are captured down below. Now, yesterday I had someone ask me, do the students know how to do this? I'm going to go out on a limb here, a pretty strong limb. I'm going to say yes. Every student in the spring term has been in at least one Canvas course, and Canvas is fairly simple to use. Once they've done it once, they'll be able to do it repeatedly. So, yeah, they're going to be, there's a high probability that they've done this at least for one of their other courses. So now I've submitted this in the student view. I'm going to leave the student view now by clicking Leave Student View. And I'm returned to teacher mode, for lack of a better descriptor. I'm returned to the assignment page, sample assignment 1. Here's the description of it, the details. And now I'm going to draw your attention to this part here that says 0 out of 1 submissions graded. That's because Canvas has recorded that the student view test student submitted an assignment. So now we've got our simple assignment done. I'm going to now show you how to create a quiz in Canvas. Going to the quiz item on the course navigation. It'll take me to the quiz area. Again, it is empty. And I'm going to click plus quiz to create my new quiz. Canvas has several different question types. I'm going to show you how to create a quiz using 3 different question types. Multiple choice, true or false, and essay questions. So now going back to creating the quiz, I do it in 2 steps. First, I create the quiz itself, and I want to make sure I build it correctly. Then once I've got that built correctly, I will go and add my questions. So the first step is I'm going to call this sample quiz 1. For the quiz instructions, please answer the 3 questions. You have 15 minutes from the start of the quiz. Actually, from when you start the quiz. Quiz type, I'm going to leave this as a graded quiz. Assignments group, I will leave it in the default assignments. I do not want to shuffle my answers, but I do want to place a time limit on the quiz of 15 minutes. I am not going to allow multiple attempts, but if you wanted to, you could. And I'm going to disable this option, let students see their quiz responses. The reason I'm going to disable it is because when I create this quiz, I'm going to give the students a week to take the quiz. Just for the purposes of this demonstration, it'll be a week-long window. And I don't want a student to take the quiz tomorrow, get the answers, and then share those answers with everybody else. So I'm going to disable that. However, if you did want to share the answers with the students, I would recommend that you let the students see the correct answers after, well past the due date of the quiz, or actually when the last day that the students will be able to take the quiz. I know some faculty members will do it like 48 hours after they've cut off the window, because there will inevitably be a student that says they couldn't even take the quiz even with the until dates, or they couldn't get to it for whatever reason. So that's why I'm going to disable letting the students see the quiz responses. So moving on, I'm not gonna show one question at a time. I will not require an access code, and I will not filter IP addresses. Now for the assign box, I want this to go to everyone in the course, and I'm going to set my due date again to March 27th. Available from, starting today, and available until Sunday, March 29th. So just to further drive the point regarding the quiz responses, if I did want to let my students see the quiz responses, I would recommend setting the release for those responses to a date after this date. So now, rather than clicking Save and Publish, I'm just going to click Save. So now that it is saved, I could review to make sure that I have everything correct. Sample quiz 1, here's the instructions. Quiz type, this is a graded quiz. Points, there's no value there, because in Canvas, it is the questions and the points that determine how the value of a quiz. Assignments group, this is all fine. Now I'm going to click Edit. So now that I've clicked on Edit, at the quiz details, I'm going to click on the Questions tab. So now I'm at the Questions tab. There are no questions here yet. And I'm going to click plus New Question. So the question, I'm going to leave this the default value, which is just says question. And I'm going to make it a multiple choice question. And I'm going to leave this to be worth 1 point. So here I'm going to put the prompt. Roses are red, violets are. So that's the prompt. And I then want my students to select the correct answer from these multiple possible answers. So for the correct answer in Canvas, it always wants to make the first possible answer be the correct answer, but we could change that. So I'm going to make this green. That is not the correct answer, but I'm going to show you how to set the correct answer. The second possible answer will be blue. Third possible answer will be pink. Fourth possible answer will be yellow. Now, if you already have a quiz that you've created and you have more than 4 multiple choice answers, possible answers, Canvas defaults to 4, but if you need to add more than 4 possible answers, you could just click on this plus add another answer. And now I get the 5th possible answer, And I'm just going to type in flowers. It's a poor prompt, but it is what it is. So now I've got my green, blue, pink, yellow. Green is not the correct answer for this prompt, so I'm going to move my mouse cursor over to the correct possible answer, which is blue. When I move my mouse cursor over it, I get this faint green arrow. And when I click on the faint green arrow, it becomes a darker green arrow, and it now says that blue is the correct answer. So now when I click Update Question, it has saved the question with the correct answer set to blue. Now I'm going to click plus new question to create my second question. This is going to be a true or false question. And I select from the drop-down, true or false. Again, the points I'm going to leave as 1 point for this question. And this prompt will be, the sun is hot. True or false, again, Canvas defaults to the first value being the correct one, which is true. So I'm just going to click Update Question. So now I have 2 questions. I'm going to create the third and final question for this demonstration. And this is going to be an essay question. And here I'm going to say, please describe the sunset, whatever. For this one, since it is an essay question, it is going to be worth more than 1 point. I'm going to make it worth 8 points. And then here I'm going to just say in no more than 2 paragraphs. Now when I click Update Question, I have my 3 questions, 1 point, 1 point, 8 points. A thing about multiple choice and true or false questions. Since we have defined the correct answers for this question type, this will be graded automatically. When the student takes the quiz, their scores will be recorded automatically. So now I've got my quiz, and I'm going to click Save. I've now saved my quiz with the details set in place and the questions. And again, with the teacher in teacher mode, I'm going to click on Preview. This will allow me, as the teacher, to preview the quiz. And it is similar to what the students would see. So here I see roses are red, violets are blue. The sun is hot. I'm going to put that as true. And then here I'm just going to type in random characters. And the reason I encourage everyone to use the preview function is to make sure that the responses are correct, and also to make sure it gives you an opportunity to make sure there's no typographical errors. So now I'm going to click Submit Quiz. Now, since I am the teacher, Canvas will show me the quiz results. Score for this quiz is 2 out of 10. Question 1 was correct. Question 2 was also correct. Question 3 says not yet graded, where the other ones show 1 out of 1 points. And that is because Canvas will not grade and evaluate the essay responses. So now we've previewed the quiz. I'm satisfied. I'm going to click Publish. Again, publishing means that it is ready for the students to interact with. Now I'm going to click on Home once more because I'm going to show you the student view taking this quiz. So again, clicking on Student View, I'm going to click Quizzes. I now see there is a sample quiz 1 available until March 29th, due March 27th. It's worth 10 points and it's got 3 questions total. Clicking on sample quiz 1, I here see the instructions. And now as the student, once I click this Take the Quiz button, that 15-minute timer will begin. To the right here, you can see the timer. The clock has already started literally ticking. If a student were to navigate away from this quiz, the timer will not stop. If they walk away from the computer, this does not pause. So once they've started, they have to finish it. Roses are red, violets are blue. The sun is hot. Well, whatever. No, not today. It's cold outside and the sun is out. And then here, I'm just going to type gibberish. So now I'm going to click Submit Quiz. Canvas will record the results, and it'll say correct answers are hidden. I see that the score for this quiz is 1 out of 10 with an asterisk. And then to the far right is the submission details, the amount of time it took to take the quiz, the current score, and then 1 out of 10 with the asterisk. It says some questions not yet graded. So now I'm going to leave Student View. And that's the quiz. That's how you create a quiz. The last item I'm going to show you how to make is how to create a graded discussion. Graded discussions are a good way to kind of gauge interaction, have some of the conversations that you would have been having in your face-to-face meetings. The thing with the discussion boards is that they are not real-time chats. Someone asked me yesterday, does this function like a chat? No, it is a discussion board. So you create the prompt as the teacher, and the students then respond to your prompt whenever they're ready. So here I'm going to call this sample discussion. And here I'm going to say, hi everyone, please describe something you had not expected this week. It's a very clumsily written prompt, but it'll work for this demonstration. And then for the options, I'm not going to enable threaded replies, but if you wanted your students to respond to one another, you would have to check this off. I will check users must post before seeing replies, because I don't want my students to be regurgitating the same thing over and over and over. I'm not going to enable podcast feed, but I will make this a graded discussion because I want the students to get something for this, and I also kind of want to encourage participation. So I'm going to make this just worth 2 points, nothing too big. Display grades as points, and I'm going to put this in the assignment group. So again, going back down to the assign box, I'm going to set this to be due next Friday. It will be available starting today, and I'm going to give them an extra 2 days to participate in it. Again, if anyone does a response after March 27th, but prior to the end of March 29th, it'll be marked late. So now I'm going to click Save and Publish. And here is my sample discussion. And using the Student View function once more, I'm going to click Home, return to Student View, go to Discussions, and here is the sample discussion. I will click on that. I see the prompt, and now as the student, I'm going to click Reply, and I'm just going to say, it was very, very cold and raining. I did not prepare for this weather. Blah, 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 blah. Post reply. And I now, as the student, see that my reply was posted. So I'm going to click Leave Student View. And we've got different assignments that the student has done. So I'm going to show you how to now evaluate and give feedback to those assignments that the student did. So there's 2 ways to go about that. I'm going to click on Assignments. The first way I'll show you is how to get to it directly from the assignment itself. So I'm going to click on Sample Assignment, now in this teacher mode. And remember, in the student view, we submitted the assignment. And in fact, here I see 0 out of 1 submissions graded. So from the sample assignment, I am going to click on Speed Grader, and it will take me directly to the submission that needs to be graded. This is the Speed Grader view in Canvas, and it opens up in this file preview. And I want to draw your attention to the top of the Speed Grader. Here is the name of the assignment, some of the due date information and the course. And I currently see this 0 out of 4 graded. I have 4 students in this course. The student view counts as 1, and then 3 other test student accounts that I've created. So this submission was done from student view, and that's called test student. And you'll see here when it was submitted, the submitted files, and then the assessment grade out of 10. This has not yet been graded, so there is no score here. So going back to the primary file preview in the speed grader, since this is a Word document, it is displaying in the preview. But more importantly, since it is a Word document, I could use these markup and annotation tools. It has a highlighter. So when I highlight a section, it will open up this little comment box. Great title. I hit enter, and the comment for that specific highlighted mark is recorded. It also has a text box. Blah, blah, blah. Has a strike-through tool. And then it has this freehand draw tool. So now I've got all my markups and annotation. I've graded it. I'm going to give this student 8 points out of 10. And here, once that screen refreshes, the grade has been recorded. If I wanted to assign any general feedback, I could do that here. Excellent work. Blah, blah, blah. Now I click submit. The feedback has been recorded and the grade has been recorded. So now when I close this window, I'm taken back to the sample assignment. I'm going to refresh this page. And now I see that 1 out of 1 submissions have been graded. So that's the first way to get to the grading component. The other way to get to it is by clicking on grades. When I click on grades, it'll take me to the Gradebook function of Canvas. And here we see for sample assignment 1, test student received 8 points. Now, I want to grade the sample quiz, and I could do that. I see that there is a submission for sample quiz 1. And when I click on this icon, I see that it's got 1/10, so 1 out of 10 points. Remember that there was 2 questions that get graded automatically, so it assigned 1 out of the 10 points. And now I need to review that essay question. So I click on that icon, and then I click on this arrow with the box, which will bring up the grade tray. If this had been submitted late, it would be recorded as late. I'm going to click on Speed Grader from here, and it will bring up the quiz in the Speed Grader. So here I see the following questions need review, question 3, and that's because that's the essay question. Question 1, multiple choice is graded automatically. The student got it correct, assigns the point. Question number 2 was answered incorrectly. The student gets 0 points. Now down for the essay, I read it. Please, this is the prompt in no more than 2 paragraphs. That's barely a sentence. I'm going to give this student 3 points. You only wrote 1 sentence. Need more detail. So now I want to draw your attention here. Currently, the grade out of 10 is 1. But when I click, as soon as I click Update Scores, it now says grade out of 10 is 4. That's because the student got 3 points out of 8. Now, once the student sees the grade and they see the results of what they've given, they're going to come back and they're going to say, well, professor, for whatever reason, I thought I misinterpreted the question, blah, blah, blah. You could go back and change this point, even though Canvas graded it automatically, since you are the teacher, you're the captain of the ship, and you could override the grades or the points assigned to the automatically graded question. So even though I gave the student 3 points, the student makes a compelling argument, and I'm going to give them an additional 2 points Now when I click Update Scores, what was previously 4 points is now 7 points. If I wanted to give commentary, I could give that here, but I will not for now. And now I've graded this assignment. I'm going to go back to the gradebook, and I do that by clicking on the gradebook icon here. So now I see that I still need to grade the sample discussion. I will click on that, get to the speed grader. Excellent, excellent. All right, it was very cold. Great. 2 points. Yes, it was very cold. Submit. And I go back to the gradebook. Now I see everything has been graded. Now some of you may have been using an Excel-based gradebook where you were keeping track of all the grades and participation and what have you. You may be wondering, well, am I going to have to type in all those values manually? No. If you want to keep using your Excel-based gradebook or whatever other gradebook you were previously using, you could export this gradebook along with the values by clicking on Actions and then select Export. This is a very small gradebook with a small number of students, so it gets generated in a couple seconds. And when I click on it, this is a CSV file, and Excel can read those CSV files, and it's opened up in my other window. And here is the exported gradebook with the names. So the first row is the header information. The second row is the number of points possible per assignment, and the subsequent rows are the students enrolled in the course. Students Test 01, Test 02, and Test 03 have not submitted anything, so they have blank values here. Test student, however, has submitted assignments and has 8, 7, and 2 points respectively. So that's excellent. I can now copy and paste these values and put them into my other workbook. If I'd been keeping the grades in a different Excel sheet, that's how I could move them over. So I'm going to close that. And you could export that gradebook however many times you'd like. So now we've created our assignments, and I've shown you how to grade them. I'm going to create a module, and I'm going to place all the assignments in that module. So this module I'm going to call Assignments and Discussions. I click Add Module. And from the drop-down, I'm going to select Assignment. I select Sample Assignment 1. From here, I'm going to select Sample Quiz 1. And lastly, I'm going to select that discussion. Now my Canvas course is starting to come along nicely, but I'm thinking of doing virtual office hours with my students. What I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you how to schedule a simple recurring meeting in Zoom. Once you have that meeting scheduled, I'll show you how to place that link in Canvas. The reason I recommend posting the link in Canvas is once your students start using Canvas for your course, they'll have a simple place where they could always access that Zoom meeting link. So I'm going to open a new tab, and I'm going to return to the CSUN homepage. Okay, so I'm going to click on My Northridge Portal again. Brings me a drop down, and I'm going to click on Zoom. When I click on Zoom, I'm taken to the CSUN Zoom page. Normally there would be an image of the Matador statue here, but it's not displaying on my computer for some reason. From this drop-down menu, since I'm going to be scheduling the meeting, I'm going to be hosting the meeting, I'm going to click on that, and there's a drop-down, and I want to schedule a meeting. I am taken to the single sign-on page for CSUN, and I have my credentials saved already in the browser. When I click Login, I'm now taken to the Schedule a Meeting area of Zoom. I'm going to call this virtual office hours. And I'm going to include the test, the course name, test 100, Monday, 2 p.m. So now when I'm going to click, and I want this to be Monday, March 23rd, 2 p.m. And I'm going to check off recurring meeting. The recurrence will be weekly, repeat Monday, and I want to keep this going through the end of April. So I select that as the end date. And I don't need the registration required. I don't need a meeting password. For video, I'm going to turn it on for myself, but I will not turn it on for the participants. That would be the students. I don't want it to automatically be turned on in case they're moving or running around or they're in the middle of a busy place. I'm not trying to see what they've got on their screen. For audio, I'm going to enable both. For the meeting options, I will enable join before host. That means if anybody were to click on the link before I've actually started the meeting, they will just say, receive a message that the meeting hasn't started yet. I'm going to mute participants upon entry because when they enter the meeting, I don't want distractions. And then for the record the meeting automatically, I'm going to just remove that. I don't want to record my office hour meetings. And now when I click save, my meeting will be scheduled. If I wanted to add this to my Outlook calendar, I could. But I'm going to take this link here. This is the meeting link URL. I copy link address. I'm going to go back to Canvas. And I'm going to create a new module called Virtual Meetings. I click Add Module. And I'm going to once again click on this plus item. And I want to add an external URL. Here I will paste the URL I copied from Zoom. And I'm going to call this Virtual Office Hours, Monday, 2 p.m. I want to check off Load in a new tab. The reason for this is if you have a student accessing Canvas on an iPad or an Android phone or an iPhone, this will ensure that when they click on the meeting, it will open up the Zoom application on their phone. So since it's Zoom, it's a separate application than from Canvas. So now I click Add Item, and here is the link to my virtual office hours. When I click on it, it will try to start the meeting. And I get this message. I've already started one meeting. I do not want to join another one. So I'm going to click no. But the way it would work, it would normally just open up the meeting and you're off and running. So now my course is ready to go. The last thing I need to do is I just need to publish the course. So the way I do that, these items are published. These items are published. And I'm going to click now, bringing your attention to the top corner, Course Status. Currently, the course is unpublished. That means that the students will not be able to see it when they log into Canvas. When I click Publish, that means that the course is now open and ready for them to start viewing it. So I've clicked Publish. I'm going to once again just click on Student View to double check to make sure everything's good. When I click on Student View, again, this approximates what the students would see. Uh-oh, there is nothing here. Why is this? No modules have been defined for this course, but I did define the modules. What did I miss? I'm going to leave Student View. And aha, what I missed is I have the individual items published. I have the course published, but I do not have the modules themselves published. So now I've clicked on the published state of the modules, and now they're green. When I click on Student View once again, now I see everything. Excellent. I'm going to leave student view, and my course is ready to go. But if you have not used Canvas up until now, your students might not be expecting or knowing that you're going to be using Canvas. So how can you let your students know that you're using it? Within Canvas, there is this announcements feature. When I click on it, I see that there are no announcements that have been created. I'm going to click plus announcement. So I'm going to create a new announcement, and I'm going to let my students know that I am now using Canvas for this course. Hi everyone, I am now using Canvas. So that's my message. Down below, I'm not going to click on any of these options because I just want my students to get it. When I click save, this announcement will go to all the students that are in the course. If they have the notifications enabled on their mobile devices, they'll get a notification on their mobile device. They'll also receive a notification in their Canvas inbox. And next time they log in, they'll see the course on their dashboard, assuming they haven't configured their view to be very specific. Also, the other benefit to using the announcements, if your students have email forwarded, if they have their Canvas notifications forwarded to their email, they'll receive an email notification as well. So that brings us to the end of Canvas Basics. I am going to stop my screen share. And I'm going to also stop this recording. All right. So I know we had some questions. Let's get to the questions in the chat first, and then I'll open up any live questions. So David asks, I'm sorry, how did you get to that file? I think we already did that. And Jing Lee is asking about the accessibility score. All right, yeah, so let me start my screen share again. So this accessibility score, when I click on it, this is generated automatically by Ally, which is the tool that we've integrated, and Crystal shared a link to more information about it. When I click on that, it'll open up eventually. Sorry, it's taking a while. Let me do a smaller file. So here it's just saying this document has a perfect accessibility score. Keep up the good work. Hooray for me. Let me click on this one that's a little lower. This is a PowerPoint file. And then here it tells me what is going on with it. Why, this presentation contains images that are missing description. And I have some tips on how to remediate that file. Let's see, there's something in the chat. And okay. All right, so that's what that means, and Universal Design Center can provide more assistance with that. So moving on to the next question in the chat, where will the uploaded file be? I don't understand what the question is, but when you click on files and you upload them, they will automatically appear here in the uploaded files area. And then when you want to go back and add them to the module, you would just click on plus and select file and add it from here. Let's see. Vasily is asking, can you add a rubric and turn it in here? And he's yelling that. Yes, we can add a rubric. A rubric's a little bit more advanced than the purpose of this workshop, but I can demonstrate how to use Turnitin. I'll do that quickly. I'm going to create, so Turnitin, for those of you that don't know, is a plagiarism review resource that we have integrated into Canvas. I'm going to go ahead and create a new assignment. I'm going to call it Turnitin sample assignment. And I'm going to breeze through these settings. I'm going to leave it at 10 points. Assignments Group worth display grade as points. Submission type will be online, blah, blah, blah. So here for plagiarism review, I'm going to select Turnitin from the drop-down. I'm going to leave these default settings. I'm going to leave the show report to students immediately. And here I'm just going to set these dates quickly. And I'm going to click Save and Publish. Going back to Student View. I didn't add the assignments to the assignments module, but I know it's here, so Turnitin sample assignment. Now I'm going to click Submit Assignment. And I'm going to choose the file. So now since this assignment has Turnitin, there's this check mark I need to use to accept the end user assignment. Submit assignment. It will get uploaded. It is submitting and it is taking a while. I don't know why it's taking so long. Waiting for Canvas, waiting for cache, and it has been submitted. So now the assignment has been submitted. It's going to connect with Turnitin, and Turnitin will evaluate it. Hopefully that won't take too long. So I'm going to pause this part of it because I'm going to let Turnitin, I'm going to give Turnitin a few minutes to kind of receive the file, process it, and spit out a report. And in the meantime, I will move on to the next question. Next question is, how do we post a quiz with longer time frames for our DRES students? Excellent, excellent question. I'm going to leave student view. So the way you could do that with quizzes is once a quiz is published, and again, sample quiz 1 has been published. Here's the green circle. Sample quiz 1. Once the quiz has been published, it will have this option, moderate this quiz. I will click on that. And on moderate quiz, I see all the students in the course, and I also see summaries. So test student already took the quiz. But let's say Herbert Test needs he needs time and a half to complete the test. So that would be half of 15, that's either 7 or 8 minutes. So I'm going to give him an additional 8 minutes to take the quiz. I do that by clicking on the pencil. Extra attempts. I do not want to give him an extra attempt. What I want to do is I want to give him extra time for every attempt. So from here, I click 8. I type in 8 minutes, 8 additional minutes, and I click Save. Now, Herbert Test, when under the moderate quiz, says Herbert Test gets an 8 extra minutes on each attempt. And that is it. If I were to take the quiz as Herbert Test, rather than having 15 minutes, that student now has 22 minutes. So that's the quick and easy way on how to give more time in DRES, or for DRES students. So now here's another question that is yelled. How do you create a waiting room for virtual office hours? I'm not sure. Oh, yeah. So within here, I did not, for the purposes of my demonstration, I did not, because this is Canvas Basics, not Zoom Basics, but I'm going to just click here, edit this meeting, and this is a recurring meeting, so I'm going to change all. And when I click Enable Waiting Room and hit Save, that is now enabled. And in this current meeting, I don't have meeting rooms enabled, but there would be a dialogue in the meeting that would allow me to put people into the waiting room, or they either get into the waiting room first and then I let people in. For more information on Zoom functions, I would recommend attending and participating in the Zoom Basics workshop, which is today at 2 p.m. and it's also available via Zoom I'll share the link to the workshop calendar shortly. Or if Crystal, if you're still online, would you mind posting that link so I can get more questions addressed? Thank you. So let's see. I have a question here. May I show you my file? Okay, no, that one I think Crystal's already working on. Once you start a Zoom session, how do you disable the audio? So when I scheduled this meeting, I've automatically muted anyone that joins the meeting once it starts. But let's see. How do I get the meeting here? I don't know if you guys can see my, you should be able to see my Zoom controls here at the top. Hopefully you can see them. When I click on Manage Participants, as the host, I could mute all, and then it'll open up this window. Current and new participants will be muted, and I could allow the participants to unmute themselves or disable it, and then they would not be able to speak at all or even unmute themselves. But I'm going to do that. I'm going to allow that, and I'm going to click Continue. And as the host, I could also unmute everyone. So I'm going to count to 3. I'm going to click Unmute All, and then I want everyone to just say hello. So now everyone's unmuted. Hello. Oh, shy bunch. Not hearing anything.
We can't.
No.
Oh, there we go. Hello. I had my speakers muted. Ha ha ha. Sorry. Hi, everyone. So now I'm going to go on a power trip. Go ahead and start saying hello, hello, hello. And I'll mute
Hello,
you all.
hello, hello.
I cut everyone off because I muted everyone. As the host, I could do that. That's not available to participants. But now I'm just going to go ahead and unmute everyone once again. And you see it does it in near real time.
So
On boxes.
on purpose, on progress.
All right. So I'm going to mute everyone once again. We've got a few more questions in the chat, I think. And then I'll take some live questions. Can I record my Zoom lectures and upload them to Canvas? Yes, you can. Within the Zoom meeting itself, you could record it once you start, or you could configure the recurring meeting to be, let me close this, to be recorded. I'm returning to this meeting that I have scheduled and record this meeting automatically. I'm going to click on a local computer, click cancel. Once it's recorded, I would recommend uploading it, depending on the length of the recording, I would recommend uploading it to Box and then sharing the link from Box. Or I would recommend uploading it to like a private YouTube channel and sharing it through there. The reason for that is Canvas is really good at being a learning management system. That's what it's designed for. But it's not really designed to serve video. Video takes a lot of bandwidth. They're large files. That's not Canvas's primary purpose. But something like Box or YouTube is designed for large videos. YouTube specifically is designed for video. So it has more functions for that purpose. Again, you can learn more about that in the Zoom Basics, which is this afternoon at 2 o'clock. And I'm going to go ahead and share that link right now. All right. So now I'll take live questions. If anyone wants to go ahead, unmute yourselves and ask me a live question, and I'll take them as they come. So there's the link to the workshop calendar. We're working on the schedule for next week. And I'm going to share this Keep Teaching resource. All right. Any other questions? Unstable internet connection.
Hello.
Hi.
I have
have a question. Is it possible to record your next presentation so we can go back to it whenever we have, a question instead of trying to reach you?
Yes, I am recording them, and I am up, and I plan to have them uploaded as soon as possible so that the basics Canvas workshop is available for you to review at your own pace.
So, I understand you are disabling us from recording it. So is it possible to enable it, to enable your next presentation so we can record it?
I will record it and I will share it. I'll post it on these Keep Teaching resources. There will be a link to the recorded video there.
Okay, when do we expect that to happen? Because I have a lecture next week and I would like to make sure I get all of my answer before Tuesday.
I'll try to get to it as soon as possible. But there's lots of people requesting help and assistance, and I'm trying to do as much as I can. But yes, I do want to get it up there as soon as possible. Hopefully by the end of the day, but I can't make any promises right now.
Okay, so when will it be posted?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to get it done as soon as possible.
Yes, where?
It'll be on this Keep Teaching page. There'll be a link to it from there.
Okay.
So on Keep Teaching, there's resources and tools. I'll be posting it here under Canvas, Canvas Basics Recorded. And then there's also more resources on this Keep Teaching page that are available now.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Any other questions?
Yeah, I had one. Whoops.
Hi, yes. Well, you started talking, now you're muted.
Is this better?
Yes, now I can hear you.
Okay, very good. So you said when we are done creating our quiz, and then we set our time frames and the date that it's supposed to open up, and we hit publish, will that automatically, do we have to publish it right before the quiz begins, or will it automatically open up on that date and time? Does that make sense?
Yes. I do understand the question. So I'm going to just click on this quiz that I created, sample quiz 1. So I'm going to just edit. Actually, I won't be able to edit it because someone already took it. I'm going to create a new quiz. And so I'll create a new quiz that's supposed to start next week, but I will publish it now.
Okay.
And I'm going to call this sample quiz 2. Start next Monday at 8 a.m. Due Monday 2 p.m. And I'll leave all these settings default. I'm going to uncheck that. And since it's just a demonstration, I'm going to set it due here at, what time did I say? 2 p.m. And I'm going to set, rather than setting the available today, I'm going to set it to Monday, March 23rd, 8 a.m. And I'm going to set the until date also to March 23rd, 2 p.m. And now I'm going to click Save and Publish, even though there's no questions here. Just because I want to show you what it would look like in the student view.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to click on Home. Click on Student View. And I'm going to go to Quizzes. I should have added it to the assignments and discussions, but I didn't. So Sample Quiz, you'll notice here it says not available until March 23rd.
Okay.
And due March 23rd versus Sample Quiz 1, which says available until. So when I click on Sample Quiz 2, here it says this quiz is locked until March 23rd.
Okay.
So I did publish the quiz, but I have that available date set to March 23rd, 8 a.m.
Okay. So when they go into Canvas, do they have to hit on the quizzes on the left side, or will it just automatically be showing as quiz 2?
So it's kind of two questions that you're asking.
Mm-hmm.
If they click on quizzes, they will see it there, sample quiz 2.
Okay.
There won't be anything that automatically pops up for them.
Oh, okay.
They'll see, depending on how they have their Canvas configured,
I see.
they might see this sample quiz 2 in the coming up section.
Okay.
Or alternatively, you could add it to the module. And then it appears here.
Okay.
So,
all right. So that might be the easier, because they might get confused if they don't know they have to go to the quiz.
Possibly, but considering the number of students that have had at least one Canvas course, they've probably experienced it more than once.
Okay.
And everybody has their own idiosyncrasies with how they configure their Canvas courses.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you.
You're very welcome. So I've got time for just one more question. Sorry, I've got to prep for I'm doing this workshop again at noon, and I need to do some things between now and then. So got time for one more question.
I've got one.
All right, David, go ahead.
On your mock page here, you have Zoom Basics PDF for the students.
Yes.
Is that something that we could get so the students could read how to work with Zoom and how to work with Canvas in case they don't know?
So yeah, we have resources. Let's see, we have a Keep Learning resource. I'm going to share this in the chat as well. And then here under Resources and Tools, where is it? One of these has Zoom stuff. I can't find it right now. Yeah, so here's on the Keep Teaching Resources and Tools, there's a bunch of Zoom resources you could share.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my biggest issue is once I start my Zoom and meeting with the students, that if they are unable to connect, I won't know how to, answer their questions, basically.
Right. Well, when you place the link to the Zoom meeting, they'll be directed to download and install it. Let me send you this link here. Keep in mind that this is like this to get started for the meeting itself. And once they've installed it, it's since they're just participating in the meeting, all they have to do is just click on the link and see the meeting. It's
okay, but they have to have the Zoom already downloaded, the program on their computer?
Yes.
Okay.
So here.
All right, well, thanks so much.
You're very welcome. Yeah, and I would for that I would recommend when you do make an announcement that you're going to have the class meeting in Zoom, in there include this link that I sent, csun.edu/it/Zoom. Try to include that in the announcement, and then that'll give them resources so that they could get started and make sure they install the right version and that they're logged in correctly. It's more important from the teacher side to configure it correctly than it is from the student side, because the students are just sitting there. They're not really having to schedule or set any of the settings.
Yeah, I know. I've done a couple of mock meetings and with friends and family just to make sure it kind of went all right.
Yeah.
And the issue I had was like one of my friends couldn't connect. And I said, "Did you download Zoom?" They said, "Yeah." And I said, "Do you see the join meeting link?" And they go, "Yeah, I'm hitting it, but nothing's happening." So I'm wondering if that ever happens with a student. I'm not sure how to advise them.
Interesting. Yeah. So for that, I would send the link to the meeting. That will ensure that if they do have the app installed and it's working correctly, by you sending them the link to the meeting, they're going to go directly into the meeting.
Yeah, that was what I sent. I sent the URL, like where it says join meeting, that URL that you copied earlier in your presentation. And I sent that by text. I sent it by email. And I sent the entire, meeting invitation.
Interesting.
And still, that one person could not connect.
That's weird. There's probably an additional underlying issue that without knowing how that individual's device is configured or any other number of things, it would be hard to really pin it down.
Sure.
But yeah, that's a great tip that you said. How that you've been testing it prior. I encourage everyone to do a couple test runs if you want. And yeah, and then someone is saying they can also join with the ID or the call-in, which is true. I can't share that view from my side because I'm already hosting a meeting. But yeah, if they have the meeting ID number, they could also type in that number.
Yeah, I gave them that number too. Under as you as a host, when you go up to one of your windows, it'll give that number.
Yeah. And, this meeting is 404-430-173. If the person couldn't connect with any of those options that you provided, there's a bigger issue than Zoom there.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't want to say it's that they're doing something incorrectly. There's just something else incorrect happening.
Yeah. It stumped me too. I couldn't figure out between those three things, him having Zoom downloaded, me giving him the meeting URL, and then the ID number, and still was unable to connect. Whereas everybody else had an okay time. Everybody else got it right away. So there must be, like you say, something beyond Zoom.
That person is that's an extreme edge case, one that you're trying to address and
avoid.
And avoid, yeah. And that's just one of the things that we won't know until we know it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, again, thanks so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
One last question.
Okay. Yes.
I mean, I went to the website Information Technology, and I didn't find, I didn't get the same screen like the one you showed me where your presentation is going to be available. So I went to CSUN Information Technology, and I'm looking at what I have. I have about it, need help, academic technology, training, services, information security. But I didn't see where I get the same things like you on the screen.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I've shared a couple links afterwards. So in the chat, there's the workshop calendar, some Keep Teaching resources, and a Zoom page. Do you see that in the chat?
In chat here?
In the Zoom chat window?
Okay. Okay. No, I didn't see it for some reason. Let me see here.
Let me send this to you. So you should see a chat button, and I sent you a couple links.
Okay, there's a chat here. I clicked on the chat. Yes, there is things on the side. Oh, yes. So CSUN IT, keep teaching. CSUN IT, keep learning. CSUN site defaults. IT, keep teaching. Keep teaching. So is that CSUN IT, keep teaching?
Yes. So on that, there's different types of resources. There's the workshop schedule that's at the very top in a red button. It says workshop schedule, new classes added.
Oh, okay. So because I went to the information technologies site and I was trying to reach this one here. So let me, this is one that CSUN IT keep teaching.
Right.
That's what I am on.
Right. Yeah, we have lots of resources that we put there that are.
Oh, yes. So now I can see faculty resources.
Yep. Perfect.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
And see you at 12.
Excellent. Thank you so much, everyone. On behalf of CSUN IT and Academic Technology, we thank you for joining the meeting. Have a great rest of the day.
Okay. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.